Hello, Sally Jake here, back with another comic book review. It's been a minute since I've done one of these, but I've just been really busy with other stuff going on in my life. But I found a book this week that I really wanted to talk about, and that is Miles Morales' Spider-Man #1, written by Bryan Hill, with art by Nico and Valentine Landro. This is a relaunch of Miles Morales Spider-Man, the new series under Bryan Hill and this artist team. And yeah, it's an interesting first issue relaunch to the series because it kind of takes Miles back to basics. And I'll be honest, I'm not really a big fan of it. So just a quick rundown of the issue. Miles, it's what you kind of imagine Miles be doing. He's, going to school at Brooklyn Visions Academy. There's a new girl that at the school who he's getting really close with and has a crush on, and maybe is interested in asking out, because him and Starling have broken up. That happened off panel. So yeah, and Miles is just doing his thing. He's saying that he wants to stay closer to home, closer to Brooklyn, not go on as many big adventures. Not because in the last run, he mentions he got turned into a vampire, met Anansi the spider god, and there was War of the Gods and all this stuff happened. A lot of big things happened around him to him, so he just wants to make his life a bit simpler and stay closer to home. But there's a new villain who doesn't go after Miles. This time, it's a villain who goes after Jefferson, Miles' dad. Uh, this villain wants revenge on Jefferson because of something that happened back when Jefferson was a informant's undercover agent for Shield, in working in Kingpin's operation, working under Nick Fury, informing on Kingpin for him. Uh, yeah, that's basically it for the issue. That's really all that happens. It's just the first issue. It's a solid start for the series, but as someone who's just been reading Miles books for pretty much since the beginning, this kind of back to basics thing, yeah, I'm not a big fan of it. Especially coming off of the last run. Okay, just to start things off, I don't like that they broke up him and Starling. I really liked Miles and Tiana together. I thought they had a really good relationship, and just bringing them up off panel, I don't really understand the point of it. It's kind of is frustrating as someone who really likes Tiana and who's gonna be disappointed because we're probably not gonna see her in many comics. You know, now because she was mainly character in Miles' book. So that's kind of disappointing. But also just this is a thing that happens in comics a lot, where one run of a comic ends and another one starts, and the new run, it doesn't undo or erase the previous run, but it also doesn't. It tries to do its own thing and doesn't call back to it or reference that run very much. And in this first issue, they do run down moments from the last run by Cody Ziegler, but in a way where I'm just okay, so things like that are not going to happen, and those things that did happen are not going to have too much bearing on this story, this run now. Uh, and it it's not a bad thing necessarily to kind of bring a character back to basics, and just bring a character back to what people know him as, because this is meant to be a jumping on point for new readers, people who maybe haven't read Miles' book before, who maybe are only familiar with him because of the movies or the video games. And if you are, yeah, this is a good jumping on point for you, because Miles' status quo is very familiar. The moments from his comic book history are referenced, but they're not super important. So that's kind of just where I'm at with this run, where just this first issue anyway, because I'm still gonna read this run. I'm still gonna keep up with it for least a while just to see how I like it. I think Bryan Hill is a really good writer. I like his stuff most of the time, so like I kind of trust him to tell a good story. It just the story might not be for me as someone who really likes all the history and the things. Like it's a weird feeling where I'm like just like, okay, this is good, but I don't think I'm the audience for this. Like, I don't think this run is for me necessarily, or at least, you know, yeah, like I said, it's only the first issue, so who knows? But that's just like my feeling going into it. But like I said, he does a good job. Like Bryan Hill, like is a good writer. Also, like the art is really good. I really like Nico Leon's arts. Draws like very good action pages, and the colors by Bryan Valenza also really solid. And yeah, there's also like a backup story, like the flashbacks to uh, Jefferson's like past that are drawn by Valentine Landro. Those are also really good. So like it's a solid first issue. Uh, like I said, it just might not be for me, but we'll see. I'm gonna keep up with it. I'm gonna keep reading it because Miles is one of my favorite characters, and I want to, see where it goes. But just initial feelings, like not loving it, not loving it yet. We'll see how it goes because, it might just take a little time to warm up to certain books. That can happen sometimes. Uh, but I really liked Cody Ziegler's run. I really liked Ahmed's run before that as well. And so like this is just it's not the best start if you're like a fan of Miles, if you liked the previous runs, because it feels like it's not for that audience. It's for newer readers. So like that's kind of like a weird thing. And like I said, it's not necessarily a bad thing, it's just book might not be for you. You know, it is frustrating sometimes, being like an avid comic book reader, for like runs to end and new runs to start. And it's just like, okay, I feel like there's no like doesn't feel like there's a ton of continuity here, but like the continuity is there, even if it's not actively referenced. But it's also just a thing of continuing the story rather than like restarting it. This feels like more of a restart. I'm kind of rambling here, but yeah, those are just like my thoughts about the book right now. And yeah, yeah, I hope people enjoyed it. I hope in and I hope it continues and gets better. If I hope I enjoy it more. Like I said, I really love Miles, and I'd hate to like stop reading Miles's book for any reason because I always want to support like a Miles book because I know at like any time, like even though he is now like a movie star and has like video games, like and any time like they could still just cancel it and then he just won't have a book for a while. I've always like worried about that with certain characters. Miles is one of them, unfortunately. Uh, but yeah, so yeah, those are just all my thoughts about Miles Morales, Spider-Man #1, by Bryan Hill. Yeah, that is all. So bye.